Hey guys, it's Emily Nied, the Grace Women's Coordinator here at Militant Grace. Today I have a devotional for you on gentleness. To be honest, I feel like it's really ironic that I would be the one giving you this devotional, this particular for the Spirit. If you were to ask my friends and family that are close to me what words they would use to describe me, I don't think gentle would make that cut on that list. That list would look much more like loud, stubborn, undisciplined. So this devotional is just as much for you as it is for me. So when I turned to the Bible to look for what gentleness actually means, the two most common words used in the original language are epiakes, which means reasonableness or moderation, and epios, which is likened to a nurse with trying children, or a teacher with refractory students, or a parent with a child. So with those two definitions, we're giving a very distinct picture of what gentleness ought to look like. And that's restraint sourced from loving kindness in the face of difficult and often foolish people. Contrary to use, gentleness isn't weakness or timidity, but it's an act of fortification of strength. It is being the bigger person. It's taking the high road. So when we look to the person of Jesus for evidence of this, we see that he's sinless. He's God. He has all the authority, and yet throughout the Gospels, his response to difficult people was often a gentle one. Go and sin no more. He didn't ignore the sin. Gentleness is not about passivity. He addressed the sin, and still he chose forbearance, even though he had the power and the righteousness to cast condemnation. James says that divine wisdom is characterized by gentleness. Paul says that to be gentle is to be walking in a manner worthy of the calling in which we are called. Now, our gentleness ought to be evident to all. So, like all the fruit of the Spirit listed at the end of Galatians 5, gentleness is in direct opposition to our flesh. It is easy to be hot-tempered. It's easy to be self-righteous. It's easy to cast quick judgment. But it is by divine wisdom, by walking in the Spirit, that we are able to reflect the heart of Christ in our interactions with those around us. So, if you're anything like me, usually those that are closest to you get the worst of you. They're safe and you get complacent, and you tend to make the most assumptions about them, and because of the familiarity, you tend to exercise the least gentle version of yourself around them. So, here's my challenge to you. Who gets the worst version of you? Thank God for something about them. Ask God to soften your heart towards them, that you would see them through His eyes, and that you would show them the same measure of gentleness that God shows you. Tomorrow is April 6th. It is the last day of Lent. So, if you've made it this far, you've made it all the way through, kudos to you. It's our team's hope that this time was a time of renewal and revival in you, and that the Holy Spirit has used this series to produce His fruit in you, in your proverbial desert.